This class 10th. Come on, what the processes involved in sexual reproduction in plant. Reproduction in plants completed in two steps. First step is the pollination and second step is the fertilization. So at first we will read about the pollination process. In plants, the pollen grains are required, which are the male gametes for the fusion purpose. So the transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a stamen to the stigma of a carpel is called pollination. Pollination takes place in two ways. These two ways are the self-pollination and the cross-pollination. So at first about the self-pollination. When the pollen grains from the anther of a flower are transferred to the stigma of same flower, such a pollination is called the self-pollination. The second type of pollination is the cross-pollination. What is cross-pollination? When pollen grains from the anther of a flower are transferred to the stigma of a flower on another similar plant, such a pollination is called the cross-pollination. This pollination process is carried out by various agents. These agents are some of the biotic factors, whereas some of the abiotic factors. Abiotic factors are the wind and water, whereas biotic factors are the birds. Now by means of figure you have to understand at first about the self-pollination. Here is a figure of self-pollination in which you are seeing that the anther which produce the pollen grains is landing upon the stigma of same flower. Self-pollination takes place by the air or by the animals. When the body of an animal touch the plant body, the pollen grains fall upon the stigma, and such a transfer is an example of self-pollination. The second type of pollination is the cross-pollination. Here is the figure. Here you are seeing that the pollen grains which are produced in the anther are carried out from one flower to another flower. When it is upon the same type of flower of same type of plant, then such a pollination is the cross-pollination. So this way an insects or some of the abiotic factors which are the wind and water are involved in transfer of pollination. This can be understood by these two figures in first figure. Now the next figure, first figure is the figure of pollination carried out by an insect. In figure, bees are on flower by which the transfer of pollen grains takes place on the stigma of same flower, whereas in second figure the air help in pollination process. Pollen grains are carried out by the winds. So these are the two figures related with the pollination process. Thanks.